Welcome to one of the largest Kiwanis clubs in the world.
To hear the message.
By the way, welcome to winter. I'm President Mike O'Brocta, and I want you to all recognize the fact that our new directory is out.
Oh, cool.
So who are you going to call to get a copy? Andre Brooks. For those of you technology savvy people, you know there's a copy on the members page of the website, right? All right. John's going to do the introspection. Randy, I'm pleased to see, is going to do the pledge, and then Mike's going to do the president's message.
Thank you, President Mike. You know, this is the week of Rupert, I like to say. He celebrated his 90th birthday over the weekend, and it's been a week-long celebration. Rupert is on Zoom today. I was thinking about Rupert as I was thinking about this introspection. Those of you that were in the club 21 years ago, will remember that Rupert's theme was Kiwanians leave the world a better place. And by that, he meant not so much departing the world as doing things that would leave our surroundings better. I think the environment was a big part of that. But as I was searching for introspection, I came across small ways you can help make the world a better place. There's actually 50 of them, and that would preempt our program if I shared all 50. I chose some that I thought were particularly relevant. See if you think that doing some of these things might, in fact, make the world a better place. Tell someone they did a good job. Better yet, tell their boss. By the way, do what you love. That alone will inspire others. This one made me think of past President Clark Goodman. Sprinkle kindness like it's confetti. Have fun. There's way too much seriousness in the world. And by you leading the way, others might just have fun too. Tell the people you love how much they mean to you. Read and share stories of hope, resilience, and love. Focus on the positive. Now, this is one idea, but it should appeal in one way or another to everyone in the room. Create, paint, sculpt, draw, knit, write a poem, or produce a song. Say thank you. Create a bee and bird-friendly garden. Gosh, that seems like it'd be fitting for this club. I don't think Sherry's in the room, but I thought of Sherry.
She's on Zoom.
She's on Zoom? Well, great. Sherry, that's for you. And lastly, I think this applies to all of us in challenging times. Learn about other cultures, faiths, ideas, languages, people, and history. Treat everyone the way you would like to be treated all of the time. A few thoughts for Kiwanians today.
Randy, it's your turn.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Please be seated, everybody. John, Randy, you did a nice job.
Thank you.
So, message today, just think back, the past couple of weeks, what have I been talking about? Past couple of weeks. Yeah, outreach, of course. And specifically last week's message was about individual club members. That'd be you. I'm looking at every one of you, eyeball to eyeball. Last week's message was about individual club members can do to further that goal. Well, I can assure you, we're going to get back to that. But this week, let's shift gears just a little bit. Let's take a look at why people join or leave volunteer organizations, including this one. You know, I got interested in that subject not too long ago, and I took a deep dive into the subject of membership in civic organizations. My gosh, I read over 1,000 pages in peer-reviewed journals. I read the results of the club-wide survey we did about 5 or 6 years ago. I discussed the topic with many of the long-term club members, some of whom are in this room. And there was one particularly important takeaway from all that, and I'm going to give that to you now. Many of you likely have figured this out empirically, and I'm telling you the research bears out your empirical or intuitive judgment. The takeaway is, the answer to the question, is my time being well spent? Is my time being well spent? How do club members feel about that? Do they find satisfying ways to spend their volunteer time? Question mark. Do they spend time with people they enjoy? Question mark. Do they feel their time has made a difference in ways that matter to them? How acceptable is it to them for all the time that they're spending? How easy or hard is it to fit that time into your busy schedules? And how much does it cost you to spend this time? And what do you get out of it? Well, it turns out those questions and the answers to those questions not only are important to you as club members, they're important to people who are thinking about joining this club. They're important to people that we want to reach out to. So, why join our club if you're not sure of the answer to these questions? That's a rhetorical question. Don't answer. So if you want to return to a period of membership growth, we want to return to that period. I sure hope we do. Then we'll go a little bit beyond the gut instinct that's worked for us for so long. Gut instinct of turning the crank and reaching out individually to invite people. We'll go beyond that. And we'll think about new ways to reach out to people. Now, raise your hand if you want to read those 1,000 pages in peer-reviewed journals. Of course not. So I condensed that down into a short, easy-to-read document of about 7 pages. Where do you think you can find that easy-to-read document? Members page of the website. Thank you. So, please visit that members page early and often. Pay attention to membership, and maybe together we'll act on our theme, which happens to be outreach. Thank you very much. Now, applause. Pigram, you're on your way up to introduce guests. Some of them were impressed by what I had to say. The rest will be impressed by what you have to say. Thank you.
Good job.
All right, yeah, good job.
I'm pleased to say we have 5 guests with us today. 2 of them are returning, so they enjoyed themselves on a previous visit. And I'd ask all our guests to stand with their Kiwanis hosts. These 2 returnees hosts are not here today, but I'll ask them to stand on their own. First one is Fred Jeter, who is right here in the back, and he was a guest of Bart Wilner.
He's put in a membership application.
And he has put in a membership application. And the second returnee, who is also here without his host this time, is Dominique Ford, who's right at the center table here. He's with the Kirk family Y, and his host was Mayor Sherman Lane. Then we have two guests who are here for the first time, and they are both hosted by Milton Hardy. And I'm going to start with Billy Peters, who is with Shockers Baseball. He's back here at the back table with Milton. And also with Milton is Ryan Bell, who is self-employed, guest of Milton. So thank you, Milton. And our final guest is the grant recipient, and she is over here at a side table, India Houston, and her host is JC Taylor. So welcome all here. Come back again.
Some of you are getting older. Jean's gonna tell us about that.
And I'm not on that list. Good afternoon, everyone. So it occurred to me last month when I saw Lee Osborne standing that we used to actually ask our birthday Kiwanis to stand up to be acknowledged as well if they're here in the room. So if you feel comfortable doing that today, please do. So for the month of November 1st today is Joyce Waugh. November 3rd is Will Dibley and Jay Massey. Number 4 is Tom Miller. Number 8 is Manley Ayler. Number 10 is Sheon Baker. Also on the 10th is David Daniels. On the 13th is Kevin Berry. On the 15th is Larry Kufel. And on the 28th is JC Taylor. And Judy's gonna strike up the music for us and we can all sing. And I think I have a couple of good singers in the room today. I need y'all to be extra loud. Larry, can you sing to yourself on your birthday? You're one of our betters.
And good afternoon. This afternoon, we are going to be giving out 2 grants. First one will be to Apple Ridge Farm and India and JC. Would you both come forward? JC is going to tell us a little bit about Apple Ridge Farm, and then India is going to tell us a little bit about what they will do with the grant. JC.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm here and I'm very, very proud to make a presentation to Apple Ridge Farms. Great organization. If you're not aware of Apple Ridge Farms, you should get to know them. It's a great organization. They've been in my pocket for many, many years. I was just telling India here, it comes out of my check every month and I don't even miss it. And so it's good if you all want to do something for some kids. I just got noticed that they had 400 kids this year for summer camp. Imagine that, summer camp free of charge because of people like you make donations where the kids can come up there. I would like to invite you, I can't do that, but she can. Come up sometime to Apple Ridge Farm and just see what they're doing. You want to see kids coming there that's never seen grass. And they get to come out and play. It's quite an experience. I tell you, it's quite an experience. I would like to just suggest that after you pay all your bills next month, if you got some money left over, before you go to the casino, write a check to Apple Ridge Farm. I guarantee you'll be more than blessed. And I'm going to now turn it back over to India to tell you something about Apple Ridge Farm, and she'll probably tell you how to get up there.
GPS. Thank you, JC, for sponsoring us. I was trying to think back to how long JC has been sponsoring us as well. And we're grateful to the Kiwanis organization for your support. And we're so grateful to JC for his partnership and advocacy for us. Apple Ridge Farm is an organization, we were incorporated in 1978. Many people probably are familiar with Peter Lewis, who founded the organization. And we really, we try our best to make better experiences for children that are vulnerable, children that need more experiences, more engagement, more academic enrichment and fun, so that they can learn in a fun environment. So that's what we do. And actually what we're going to do, I know I've got a short period of time to speak. What we're going to do with these funds, we've identified 2 legacy campers. We call our legacy campers the ones that come for 4 weeks straight. And it costs us a little over $500 per student to send these students to camp. So we've identified 2 legacy students that we would like to receive these camperships, as we call them. One is Major, who was a camper. He's a reoccurring camper. He's been with us for many years, and he's moving on to a junior counselor position where he can have some responsibility in helping out at camp. And it's kind of like a first job experience. And another camper is Malaya, who just came to Apple Ridge for the first year last year. And she was a very shy, very timid young lady. And we found out after speaking with her, some of our educators spoke with her and found that, you know, she had some very sensitive issues that made her more shy, less reserved, also had some reading comprehension challenges. And we worked with her over 4 weeks last summer, and she just really started to come out of her shell, made friends, and was reading at a higher level. So these 2 students are going to be receiving 4 weeks of Apple Ridge Farm, wonderful experiences, outdoor experiences, engaging experiences, thanks to you all and thanks to your support. So thank you very, very, very much.
Got the camera. Here we go. Now smile.
You're good.
Thank you.
For our second one today, Bethany Christian Church. I found out over the last couple of weeks that the individuals that were supposed to come are unfortunately undergoing some significant health issues. But we're going to ask John Montgomery if he'd come forward and tell us a little bit about the church and about what they plan to do with the money. So, John.
Thank you, Bob. As Bob mentioned, both Reverend Kevin McNeil and Brenda Allen, strong member of her church, which is Bethany Christian, is a fellow denomination of the church I attend, West Hampton Christian. My family, going back several generations, have been members of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. And I happen to be a member of West Hampton, which is in Southwest City. And primarily our family selected that church when we moved here in the late 60s because it was the closest to our home. Very easily, we could have joined Bethany Christian, which is out in the Williamson Road area. We've got a strong affiliation with Bethany. So when Bethany made its appeal a few years ago for an opportunity to feed the community, they knew that I was a member of Kiwanis and asked if I would sponsor the grant, and which I did. I'm pleased to say that I filled out the application, but I let the members of the grant committee decide whether it should be funded, and it stood on its own. Bethany Christian makes an effort to feed people in its neighborhood with a community table once a month. And they step it up at Christmas time, and the $1,000 that the club is funding them today will be used to help make Christmas meals for those in the vicinity of Bethany that need help with a holiday meal. In prior years, they've been able to step it up at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And the fact that our club is seeing it fit, it's sort of a Meals on Wheels, except people come to the church. So I know that Rev Kev, as we fondly call the minister, and Brenda Allen, who would be here if they were not fighting serious health issues, as Bob alluded to. So I am both the sponsor and the representing the recipients, but I can tell you that the church is grateful and appreciates what Kiwanis does. Thank you.
Get the microphone on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you gotta be crazy with photography. Oh, I gotcha.
Good.
Thank you, John.
Well done, well done. So this is a time of year where we take the money that has been donated to our club and award it to the recipients of grants that our club has selected. And it turns out that this year there are 29 organizations that are receiving grants from us, totaling $65,000. And that's just a remarkable accomplishment, and we should be proud of that. All right, let me move on to the announcements, and they're listed on your agendas. And just like the past couple of weeks, there's quite a number of announcements going on here, because see previous comment. We should be proud of all we're doing. So membership surveys are once again on your tables. The window for that is closing. So if you want your voice heard, fill it in this week or next week, or forever hold your peace. Let's see, Nature Park. I have it on good authority that this little cold spell we're having during the week is going to break just in time for Saturday's cleanup of the Nature Park. Sherry Hartman, Don Witt, and Ruth Cutler, who run that program, are looking for you to volunteer to come outside and help clean up. Do you have sheets on your tables for signing up for that?
Yes, yes.
Good. Moving in chronological order, next Wednesday after this meeting, there'll be a foundation board meeting. Foundation board. The foundation board manages a nonprofit association that's tightly coupled to our Kiwanis Club. And next Monday, the new president of that Kiwanis Foundation will begin his term, our own Lee Osborne. Looking further in the future, Jean Bollendorf is here today. You're aware she's running this coming KPAD. And she needs you to volunteer to put on your best face and sales pitch to come out to the stock market. She's made arrangements for our club to have a booth. We're going to sell Kiwanis. We're going to sell tickets to KPAD. John, do you have the ornament?
Not on.
And we're going to sell Christmas ornaments that feature us. By the way, you'll be buying Christmas ornaments too. Stay tuned for that. And Don Chichester, once again, thank you, Don, has arranged for us to host and serve Thanksgiving to the folks over at the Adult Care Center. You have signups on the tables. He wants me to make sure you know that if you signed up, that's great. You don't have to fill it in again. If you haven't signed up, get busy now. Here's the attractive,
Gosh, I wonder who made that. Like Eric.
Take it out of the.
oh, take it out of the, all right.
Maybe we should get.
I'm used to being told what to do.
There, now it's all shiny. A camera breaker. Thank you.
Let's see, moving down the list further. What could be more fun than hanging out with a bunch of Kiwanians, enjoying a social evening and attending Mill Mountain Theater? Larry, thank you for arranging once again for us to enjoy some of the talent over there. Sign up. It's one of the nicest times. Elf the musical, same thing as the movie, so it's going to be great. As usual, we'll have the reception in the Harrison Museum, second floor. So, Christmas is not that far off. I can't believe I just heard myself say that, but I did. So thanks to Ken Briggs, we're ringing bells for the Salvation Army. We do it every year, the first 3 Fridays in December. Next week, you'll see some sign-up sheets for that. Let's see, moving on. Oh, Ken gave me something to read. All right. Ken, are you on Zoom? All right, I want you to faithfully know I'm going to read what you provided. And by the way, I think he's kissing up to the president now. He said, Mike, be sure and tell everyone that since our theme is outreach, we are hopeful that our Kiwanian members will invite guests to ring bells for the Salvation Army. Way to go, Ken. You're competing for that outreach award, aren't you? And last on my list, and if I've missed anything, just send a note up front. I'll get to it at the end of the meeting. But last on my list is Andre Brooks and calendars. They go to the VA. The people there really benefit from knowing what day of the week it is and what day of the month it is. For some of them, that's information they wouldn't ordinarily know off the top of their heads. All right, we have braggarts in the room. It's time for you to line up. Braggarts in the room. While they're lining up, I want you to know that every dollar they spend, and they're spending $2 to brag, every dollar they spend goes to that Kiwanis Foundation I've mentioned. And those dollars then turn around and go back into grants and whatnot and whatnot. So come up here for 30 seconds, brag about something that's not controversial. Thank you.
Good afternoon, fellow Kiwanis. I'm Will Dibling, and I'm here to make my annual brag buck contribution to the Kiwanis Foundation. And I can't leave here without making a little bit of a plug for the foundation. I've served on the foundation board for several years, and it's exceedingly pleasing to me to see that each year the annual contribution to the foundation to the club has been increasing. Also, I need to point out that for this year, the foundation is contributing $57,000 to the good works of the club. So I'm really proud of it. Now, you all know that some years ago, John Bradshaw, a longtime member of the board of the foundation, established the custom of the brag buck gift on the occasion of your birthday, and that tradition has allowed each Kiwanian to get a little skin in the game. So it's a good program, and I am very pleased today to contribute a small check, not like Rupe's check, but a small check in the amount of 1 year for $1 for each year that I will attain on my birthday on November 3rd. So thanks to everyone, and thanks to the Kiwanis Foundation. Here.
Emily Bailey, and my quick brag is that my mom successfully went through her second round of treatment, and she's doing really, really well this week. And thank you so much for the cards and the prayers and the nice emails checking up on her. We have 2 more treatments to go, and then we're hoping after that it's a done deal. So thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Ben Spiker. I just wanted to remind everybody that the Music on the Corner program is going to start again on November 10th. It's at St. John's Episcopal Church. Admission is free. And this year we will be singing the 4 coronation anthems, Handel's 4 coronation anthems. So 6 o'clock, I think it starts at 6, something like that. But it's a free event. It should be great. It starts off a great season of great music. Thank you.
Hello, I don't need any introduction. You can stay seated. First of all, I'd like to brag about my guest here today. So grateful to have Brian Bell. He's a great guy that's doing great things for our city.
He's spoken to us.
He's spoken to us a few times. As a matter of fact, he's actually did a presentation, I believe. So I'm grateful for him. Also grateful to have Billy Peters here. He's doing some great things for our children. And for anybody that has a chance to talk to Billy today, please hear what he has to say. He has a lot to do. He wants to do for our city, and he needs our help to do it. So I'm here to brag about you, Billy. You owe me 25 cents. All right, so any Redskin fans, I'm giving you more than $2. Any Redskin fans that we have in here? Do we have Redskin fans? I need to know. Please raise your hand. Or the Commodores, or whatever you want to call yourself. Any Washington fans? I want to personally thank you today. I intentionally got up here because you need a hug today. Because of the trades that happened on yesterday. Oh my goodness. I thank you for Chase Young being a 49er now. So I'm excited about that. And the rest of y'all teams are probably scared to death right about that. So I'm excited about that. But also, last thing I want to say, as the president of Ram House, for the ones that came out to our event on last Thursday, it was a wonderful event. A lot of people came and a lot of Kiwanis were there. So I thank you so much, and there's so much more to do. But thank you from the bottom of our heart from the Ram House. Thank you so much.
Please. I want to make a quick brag today. I want to tell you about a play that's coming up. It's called the Dana Theater. This is being put on by the Bridge Builders, which involves different churches from people from different walks of life getting together, doing things. Ken Briggs is in the play. Don Witt's in the play. I'm in the play. Milton Hart is in the play. That's right. You all need to be there. It's $30, Dana Theater. It's on the 18th of November, 4 o'clock in the evening. You get home before dark. And we'd love to have you call me or Milton or Joe and get a ticket to come to see this play. It's a great, fun afternoon. While I'm here, Jenny, what's Jenny? I didn't realize November is my birthday. I'm getting older. So, as it's been said, they give $1 per year for the birthdays. So, John,
Yes, sir.
put me down for the birthday of November, $100.
I didn't realize you were 100.
Close enough.
Thank you for all the brags. Ben and JC, you both talked to us about worthwhile events outside our club. I'll suggest if you send that information over to Alex Bart, the newsletter could include the information about those two events. All right, now we're going to enjoy an introduction for our speaker. Who's doing that? Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Mike. My name is Frank Rogan, by the way. I have the honor of introducing our guest today. And before I do it with the main guest, who's Mark Johnson right here, introduce a couple of his teammates with us today. And first, I'd like to introduce Ken Thomas. Anybody know Ken? She looks familiar, doesn't she? Cox Communications, maybe. Cox Connects, right? Connections?
Right.
Many years she was in your living room or your TV room, doing some great exposés on our nonprofit organization. So thank you for doing that. And she's also the senior vice president for development and advocacy. Also have Matt Reedy who's with us, and Matt's a senior director of the YMCA Downtown Kirk branch. And Matt's interested in joining the club, so watch out. Everybody's gonna surround Matt right now. But thank you very much. And also, so the main guest today is Mark Johnson. Mark's been the president CEO of the YMCA of Virginia's Blue Ridge, great branding, for the past since 2013, 10 years, right? With the YMCA for about 28 years. He's been around a long time. And before that, I think it was the singer-songwriter that song from the Village People, the YMCA song, right? That was Mark, right?
Yeah.
Now, the YMCA is near and dear to my heart. I've been a YMCA member since about 3 years or 4 years of age. The YMCA in the South Bronx was by Yankee Stadium. I was swimming down there. My father was a YMCA member, so second generation YMCA. We do a great job doing lots of things in the Valley, and Mark can tell you all about it today. So Mark Johnson, please welcome Mark.
Right there, Stein. Okay. These checks are how old you are. Will's check was only for $29. I'm not sure how that works. I was gonna, let me.
You get good pictures so I can get out of your face. Awesome, thank you.
I was gonna do those introductions as well, so glad Frank got a couple of them out of the way.
our staff team at the YMCA is what makes everything work for us. So, and it happens to be Staff Appreciation Week at the YMCA. So if you're a member and you go in, find your favorite staff person. It's probably Dom, if you use the Kirk Y. Dom is our vice president of talk to everybody and connect everybody and make everybody feel good at the Y. And I know Ryan Bell's been mentioned multiple times, but Ryan is on our board of directors. So the YMCA is run locally by, or the whole region by a volunteer board of directors. So those are my bosses. So when you follow the good advice earlier of telling me what a great job I did, my boss is here also, and you can tell him what a great job I did. It's convenient. So I'm gonna take you through some information. I prefer to tell stories, but there's also some really great information that I want to pass along. And I know that Kiwanis has a rich history. So I thought you would appreciate hearing a little bit about the YMCA history. It started in London in 1844. And for all intents and purposes, it was a Bible study. A guy named John Williams saw that there was a lot of young men who had a lot of time on their hands and weren't using it very fruitfully, and invited them all in and said, we're going to spend time together in the top of a hardware store. And that's how the YMCA started nationally. It was just a guy who recognized a problem that he saw in the community and said, I'm going to do something about it in some small way. It did not take long before that grew and came to the United States. It started in Boston in the United States. And believe it or not, that date is accurate. In 1883, the YMCA came to, I believe it was the town of Roanoke, just converting from Big Lick at the time. But before Roanoke was even a city, the YMCA was here. And that is because of the railroads. It's how the YMCA grew all the way across the country. It was, again, the railroads were full of young men who would stop at different stops. They would spend the night at those stops. They needed something productive to do while they were there. So YMCA's popped up at all the railroad stops. So the young men would have a place to stay. We were once the largest hotel in the United States of America because we did housing overnight for young men that needed a place to stay. And so that's how it got to Roanoke so early. The first building was in 1914. I would have swore I talked to somebody who said they were a member there. It's a parking lot now. Who was that? Somebody, there we go, right there was a member in the original building. I'd hate to see your check when the birthday day comes up. And then also, this need was a need that grew during a time in our country that we were very segregated. And so the first Black YMCA in Roanoke was in 1914. So also a rich, long history. And it was over near Hotel Roanoke. And there's a plaque in the sidewalk where that house, where that started originally was. So it's a great, rich history. I'm going to bounce ahead a little bit. We've had a couple facilities. 2004 is when we built the Roanoke facility that's here. There's actually two in Roanoke. Many of you know the Gainsborough YMCA, which was throughout history traditionally the Black YMCA. So the two YMCAs kind of grew up together in Roanoke. Those segregation ended in the 60s. Two independent boards run separately organizations. So it was in the 1980s when those two came together and became YMCA of Roanoke Valley. And so that's a quick history. We've grown a lot since 2013. We've gone from 3 Ys to 5. We built the YMCA in Daleville, Virginia. We merged the YMCA that's in Lexington, Virginia. There was a small independent Y, and it was just better for us to do that together than to do it apart. And so, there's a long history. We currently have 5 facilities. We've got about 23 childcare sites. A lot of people don't know that about the Y, but we are in the school systems in the area, and we do after school care. We're the largest provider. When you look at the YMCA's in Virginia, we're the largest provider of childcare in the state of Virginia. So it's a big part of what I do, but most people don't really recognize that the Y does a lot of that work. Before all of that, or during all of that, a few small things happened at YMCA's, like inventing basketball, volleyball. The Boy Scouts had their first meetings in YMCA's, and Father's Day started at a YMCA in Spokane, Washington. So throughout history, there's been some major things that we all know about that happen in YMCA's. All right, I've already said some of this because I always get ahead of myself. The YMCA, another cool thing, you probably think this is Chick-fil-A, but in the United States, the largest employer of teenagers in the United States, the YMCA does that. Lots of lifeguards, lots of childcare, gym monitors, all the different things that we do at the YMCA. So we take a lot of pride in that and bringing people in, helping them get their first opportunities to work and be supervised and to give back to their community. So we have about 550 staff at the YMCA. So again, spread way out, probably a larger organization than most people know that we are. Many of those are part-time, about 45 to 50 are full-time, and the rest are part-time. Lifeguards, all of those things that we do. So it's a large organization. About 2,100 people a day come through the YMCA. Let me get you to the right page. We serve almost 5,000 families. That's a huge piece of what we do, is because families come to the Y and they can all do different things and also spend time together. And so that's an important piece in our facilities. About 4,500 seniors. I could go down the list of things that we do with seniors. I will in a little bit, but how many people play pickleball? Feels like that has become something that is growing and growing and growing. And so we do that as well. And a really key important one, and it has a lot to do with what Kim Thomas does for us. We are right about $400,000 a year in scholarships that we give. That can be a membership scholarship where someone says, hey, I want to be part of the Y, but I can't afford to be part of the Y. That can be a program scholarship. If you get a membership scholarship, you automatically qualify. If you have a family and they want to participate in our programs, they automatically are scholarship for those as well. And so that's a big piece of what we do. And one of the things that makes the Y unique, as we get compared many times to Gold's Gym or the Rack or the Back or some of those other things, us being a non-for-profit organization, that's a big part of what we do, is help people access those things. And about 1 out of 5 every person who walks through our doors is actually getting some sort of assistance so that they can be there and be part of the YMCA. So that's a lot of numbers. I'm going to give you a quick story about me. So I started in the Y in 1995, 28 years ago, right out of college. And I was a assistant youth sports director in Alta Vista, Virginia. So not too far away from here. I was newly married, and being a sports director, my job was running all of the sports for the YMCA, which included 35 baseball teams, 35 basketball teams. We were the city of Alta Vista's rec department. So I spent my day dragging ball fields, mowing grass, getting teenage umpires on the list that would not show up later that night. And then I would umpire somehow 2 games at once. And that was my life for quite some time. And then during baseball season, my first year, we finished our baseball games. They didn't finish till, almost 10 o'clock at night most nights. So I would run over to Food Lion. I met my wife there. We were getting groceries. And this young man named Derek comes running down the aisleway to me. Mr. Johnson, did you see the game tonight? Which I was umpiring his game that night. I did see it. And he said, it was amazing. I was so awesome, and ran off. And I was like, well, that was an interesting interaction. And then his dad walked up and said, I can't begin to tell you the difference that playing youth sports has meant in my child's life. He was introverted. He wouldn't talk to adults. He was just he didn't have good friendships. He was really struggling to really connect with other people. And then playing a sport, he had a coach that wasn't me or his mom, and he had a built-in friends. His confidence is through the roof, and he is just having such a great time. And I wanted to say thank you. Well, wow, that's pretty awesome. So one, I was glad my wife heard that. But later that night, I was laying in bed, and I had an epiphany that while I thought I was dragging ball fields and mowing grass and scheduling umpires, that was the work I was doing. But what was happening because of that work was something altogether different. And it's why I've never done anything since I've gotten out of college other than the YMCA, because whether it's youth sports, whether it's the health and wellness function that we have and the difference it makes in people's lives when you're healthy and you can do things, whether it's childcare, and we have so many kids that come through our program that have difficult times at home. And if we can put an adult with them that loves them and cares for them, is interested in their story, the difference that I know the adults in my life that did that for me that weren't my parents, and the difference that we make in kids' lives. To me, that's what hooked me with the YMCA, and that's why I'll do it, hopefully, if Ryan lets me, until I retire. So, few more pieces of information. I've got to get all this information in, Kim requires it. Our stuff for children and childcare, why after school, summer camp. Yes, you guys run an awesome summer camp. We take our kids to their summer camp to visit, so it's a great program. Early learning centers, we've gotten into preschool more because that's a need that, especially post-COVID, has just been tremendous. There's so much need for that, and there's way less childcare providers. So many childcare providers got out of childcare. So we stepped into that space. We serve about 982 children every day in our different.
Where are you going?
Middle school.
I'm not
teams.
listening to it.
Who wants to deal with middle school teens,
Come
right?
talk to me.
Well, you know, our biggest problem is we couldn't attract them. We couldn't figure out what to do with
Where are you
middle
going?
school teens. They might show up at the
What
Y,
an art.
but for the most part,
Where
they
is
didn't.
that
And we said, here's this segment that we're not serving as
Oh.
much as we would really like to. So we've tried to start some programming. Ryan Bell, keep saying your name, helped us actually when he was at the school, get one going at Lucy Addison Middle School, and that's expanded now to James Madison. It's called Beacons. And it's an after-school program for middle school teens where the whole focus is to give them experience. It's not a continuation of the school day. It's giving them experiences that they probably wouldn't get in their formal education. And we try to get members from that community who comes in and invests in their school and provides those experiences. So we have all kinds of really cool things we do. Virginia Western Community College comes in and does robotics, and they fly drones and build robots. And so it's a really cool program. We've got about 80 kids staying after school right now between those two schools and participating in that programming. And it's us and the school in partnership to make all that happen. And then the school takes them and brings them home. And so it's an example of some of the things we're doing for teens. Route 540 is a group at Kirk YMCA that also comes and does programming there. And so we believe if we can get kids in our buildings, or if we can be in the schools with them after school and fill that time with a positive experience, that we're helping. We have a program called Humble Hearts that's just for ladies. It's just for teenage girls. And it's a program about empowerment and education and giving them an opportunity kind of in their own environment to just grow as young women. So senior programming, chair aerobics, water aerobics, pickleball, ping pong. We have luncheons. Old people really like to eat. I'm getting hungry in about a minute. So we do a lot of programming for our senior population, because for a lot of our senior population, the YMCA is a wonderful place just to build social relationships, which we know more and more. Things like what you're doing right now, showing up to Kiwanis, just makes you feel better. Seeing people you care about and having those conversations does. And so it's an important part, we believe, of what we do. And then YMCAs have pools. We have the first public pools. We had the first filtered pools. The YMCA did the first swim lessons as a group. So we've been pioneers in swimming. So we have about 3,700 kids that, I keep forgetting to do that. About 30, let's see, I can't read, almost 4,000 kids who learn to swim at the YMCA each year. We have a swim team where kids that want to go on and excel can do that. But probably one of my favorite programs, Y Splash, we have 2,412 kids this year in a partnership with the school, where the school brings them to our pools. That's a lot of children. Every second grader in the region has the opportunity to come to our pools and learn water safety. We put them in life jackets, we put them in canoes, and they go back and forth. We put them in the water. And for a lot of the kids that come into second grade, it's the first time they've ever been in water over their head. And so the experience, and we love doing it with the school because we get everybody. We don't just get the kids that the parents will bring them. We get all the kids. And so it's a wonderful opportunity for us to let kids experience water and let them realize it's not a horrible, dangerous thing, but it can be. And so making sure that they understand how to be in the water. Focus moving forward. These will not look like big surprises probably, because I think they're somewhat common sense. But our focus as we move forward in the coming years, just about like any organization that anybody here is part of, volunteers for, COVID had a massive impact on the YMCA's. You know, we were closed for an extended period of time through all of that. I say we were closed. We were closed for health and wellness activities. But we did choose during that time. It was a time where we really, the easy thing to do would be lean out. Childcare was almost impossible during COVID, right? Can you imagine with all the rules you had putting a bunch of kids together? We didn't do that. We leaned in because we had nurses and workers at Kroger and all the other places that had to have some place to bring their children if they were going to go out in the community and serve. And so we leaned in on that. We started something called Camp Hope, and we took up every space we could take in every facility we had. I'll be honest, we had kids in the basement of a pizza shop. We had kids in the basement of a bar. It was closed. Like, we found every space we could get in churches because you had to spread kids out so far. And all of our staff that were still working with us during that time, they all became childcare staff. So if you were in membership, you were in wellness, it didn't matter. You were going to be part of providing childcare because the ratios were way down and we had to keep kids way spread out. So that it's an example of the way, part of the way we got through that. But COVID was also difficult. Obviously, membership went way down. Since we've come out of COVID, we've recovered. Membership is where it was. The cost of providing those is, as most of you know, the cost of everything has gone up dramatically, right? And so we're still recovering from that, but we've had a pretty good recovery. We've got more members now than we did when COVID first hit. Childcare has gone through the roof since then. We serve about twice as many kids as we did pre-COVID. So the recognition of how important childcare is to our community became a very important piece as well. So you'll see those as things that we're focusing on as we move forward, how to grow and retain our members. It's a key piece on how we keep doing all the work that we do. And then childcare, just putting that structure together because we think it's going to just continue to grow. It's such an important thing that we do, and it's so missional for us. You know, our mission to change lives and serve kids and help create the change makers of tomorrow. Well, you give me a kid and help me put a loving adult in front of them, and I can make that work happen. And so, and then the other piece, employee engagement. Again, if you work in a business here, the environment of employees, especially if you have 550 of them, is so different than it used to be. Engaging employees in a different way is something that we believe training them, spending the time with them, getting to know who they are. The environment has changed pretty dramatically on that. I'm going to move really quick. One of the things that we saw earlier was something good you can do. Well, I'll tell you something good you can do for the YMCA. This is how you can help us. You can sign up and volunteer. Programs like Y-Splash, when you have 2,000 kids coming through, take a lot of volunteers. You don't have to necessarily be in the pool, but we take them through the locker rooms to do all this, and it takes volunteers to pull that work off. And so I would encourage you can go to ymcabvr.org and sign up to be a volunteer, and we will email you every time we have a volunteer opportunity that we would love your help with. You can donate to our annual campaign, so that annual campaign pays for that $399,000 of scholarships that we provide. And so we run that campaign each year. We raise less than we give every year, but that's an important thing you can do. And then be an ambassador for the Y. I would love to sit down and talk to you further about all the different things we do. But I think people knowing all that we do, most people think we're a gym. And that's a shame. We're not as good at telling our story as we should be. But if you ever want to learn more, absolutely, give me a call. I'd love to sit down and take you through the whole thing and all the different things we can do. Just so if nothing else, you can talk about us as one of the solutions in the community that really does try to make our community a better place. I have 3 minutes and 11 seconds. No one fell asleep, so I didn't have to break into the YMCA song to wake y'all up. That's good. So can I answer some questions? Are there things? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I'll give you a more detailed answer than you probably wanted. But so we're about almost a $13 million organization. When you look at all of the Ys and all the childcare and everything that we do, about 60% of that of the income for that comes from our membership. It used to be 70%. Now childcare is 30% of all of our income. We do a lot of Department of Social Services. We serve a lot of kids that can't afford it. So we get our funding a lot of different ways to support that. And about 10% of that is our annual fundraising dollars that we raise and grants. Yes, sir.
Your volunteers vetted by MCA before they start working?
Yes, sir. There's two categories of volunteers for us. If we're gonna have a volunteer that's gonna be in direct contact with children, especially if there's any chance that there could be a moment where they're not with one of our staff when they're in contact with the children, that's a whole nother level of vetting where we do background checks, sexual offender checks. Actually, every member of our YMCA's, when you scan that day, that list at night goes against the sex offender list, and we find out immediately. So we always want to be aware, and those, because we have so many kids in our buildings, if someone is on that list, they can't be a member of the YMCA. You're welcome. Who else? Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, but I have a statement.
Yeah.
My wife's a second grade teacher at Cave Spring Elementary and took her class to the YMCA, the swimming program we're talking about. My wife raved for a week of how wonderful her staff was, how professional they were. She has autistic children that have sensory issues. She said your staff overcame that with love and compassion, and it was wonderful. And she had one of the best weeks she ever had teaching because all her kids had smiles on their faces.
Yeah.
And it was just a pure pleasure. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Well, thank you very much for that. Yes, kids love that. And one thing we learned is when we had COVID, it didn't happen. We went back and got those kids. We pulled the third graders in too and said, okay, I'll still get to come through, so they didn't get skipped. So great.
Mark, you gave us a really comprehensive view, really engaging way. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And in terms of appreciation, we give a speaker honorarium, and it's really strange for me to see that this is actually going to the YMCA.
Who knew?
Thank you very much. That was jam-packed with stuff. Jam-packed with stuff. I probably learned more in that half hour than I've learned the entire rest of the week. It was great. It was just great. Wow. Frank, thanks for lining that one up. So, and it turns out we got more that Frank's been doing for us. He's lined up next week's speaker. And that'll be Rebecca Meadows, the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Virginia. All right. Are there any additional business items we need to tend to? In that case, we are adjourned.
128, Mike. Pretty good.